Hey guys, welcome back. In today's video, we are talking about AMC exploding, the pure manipulation, the 1656 price target given, and many more in this video. First, we're taking a look at this. The last time AMC was stuck under $3, the stock exploded following months from $2.9 to over $30. Now the stock has been under $3 for weeks, and the CEO is unable to purchase shares due to insider info. The short float just rose to 13.61% from 11%. Something is brewing. Now, this is something that we've already obviously covered. Everything that's mentioned here is something that we should understand. We talked about the implications of what there is when Adam Aron said he's unable to purchase shares. We talked about how AMC's been at this current price because of the suppression. We're obviously looking at historical data and what AMC has done. But more importantly, we are knowing that AMC is currently being extremely and heavily manipulated. The short float rising to 13.61%. We know that this is definitely not accurate. We've seen it in the past before. We've discussed it multiple times. But the main point, the main takeaway from here is understanding historically when we've seen AMC at this current price, we see it explode. And with everything that we've talked about recently, it seems like it is the indication of AMC exploding. When we take a look at the suppression manipulation, first you take a look at this. 0% almost every day pre/post market. AMC orders are not getting filled, not settled by the Wall Street mafia or hedge funds, market makers, not being governed by the agencies. Stocks like AMC are allowed to get manipulated to keep down. So we're taking a look at the price movement of AMC, and it's closing at 0%. And we know that this is because of the suppression. And one of the biggest reasons for why there is a suppression of AMC is because shorts know that when AMC rises, they will go bankrupt, hence why they need to manipulate the price. When we take a deeper dive into the price target later, you understand more for why that reason is, because they have to pay an abundant amount of money to obviously cover these shorts. But here is the first indications of the manipulation. And when you take a look at this, in case you guys didn't already see this, when someone asks, what are the odds? Now we know. Where we can take a look, this expose highlights an anomaly in AMC Entertainment Holdings stock, which closed with a 0% change for 3 consecutive days. A statistically improbable event with the odds of 0.0000001%. 1 in 1 trillion. And so this is suggesting potential market manipulation or technical issues. Now, we haven't seen any technical issues recently. And every time we have seen technical issues, it's been when they've shown the real price of AMC, in which they cover it up as a technical issue, even though we know that that's not the case. We're now obviously then looking at that is market manipulation. Remember, this is a 1 in 1 trillion chance of happening. And all the times when you're seeing these very unlikely events that happen, these statistically improbable events that are happening, it happens to either AMC, it happens to GME. When you're seeing suddenly the flow changing, it happens to AMC, it happens to GME. When you're seeing suddenly a different price way higher than what is shown, when you're seeing how people are paying prices way higher than it's shown, it happens to AMC, it happens to GME. And people play it off like it's technical issues, but it's come to a point where it is just not a coincidence anymore. There is something going on if it constantly happens to AMC or GME. And in this case, what we're seeing right now is obviously the market manipulation. Now, there's a reason why they're doing this. Recently, we've been seeing how Adam Aron has been extremely vocal about AMC in terms of the future of the industry that we are at. You can see here, smart people have mistakenly been writing off the consumer appeal of movie theaters for a century. Radio was going to kill off movie theaters, and so too TV and VCRs and DVDs and streaming. Nope, we are still here and standing tall. Now, my breakdown of this particular message is 2 things essentially. Firstly, the smart people. Now, it's very likely that Adam Aron is referring to the smart money. Also a different way to obviously quote to talk about these institutions, because that's what institutions have been trying to do. They've been trying to write off and bring down AMC. But they have gravely made mistakes, like we see here when Adam Aron talks about mistakenly been writing off. And then he talks about we are still here and standing tall. Now, this isn't going to go into a massive decode of the message, but we have seen how Adam Aaron have obviously made these statements, and especially with everything that's going on right now, we can see and understand that institutions, that these shorts have obviously been wrong about AMC. We are still here, we are surviving. Not only that, we are thriving, we are improving, and we are increasing our shares and our businesses. And so that's why one of the biggest reasons for why shorts have been trying to manipulate AMC. They understand that fundamentally it's going to attract investors. So one of the ways we can do it is through the technicals of suppressing AMC. But there's a grave mistake that they've made, because you can see here AMC and GME at $1 never selling. Now that's firstly just talking about how essentially no matter how low AMC goes, people know that that is not the real price of what AMC should be. And so they won't sell, because you will sell when you realize you've made a mistake. You will sell when you think that a share wouldn't go up because fundamentally it doesn't reflect that value. However, in this case, we know that we haven't made a mistake in investing AMC. We also know that at $1, it is definitely not a correct reflection of what AMC should be fundamentally. We know that it should be way higher. And so that's the first mistake. Then the second mistake is understanding that $100 never selling, at $1,000 never selling, at $10,000 never selling, at $750,000, Lightberg A selling some shares. Now, again, for everyone, this is obviously going to be different. But the main point of this message is that they've made a mistake in both people won't panic sell AMC when it goes low, but also people won't sell when AMC goes to a high price. Remember, at $100, it's already very high. I'm not saying that this is the squeeze price, but I am saying that compared to where we are right now, it's still a massive increase. But more importantly is that even at $100 is going to do grave damage to the shorts. But people aren't willing to sell 100, and very likely people aren't willing to sell at 1,000, which is going to do even more damage. We talked about the bankrupting of many institutions, and at $10,000 a shares, we talked about institutions like banks, like hedge funds, who are obviously going to go bankrupt if they're covering shares at 10,000. And so that's the biggest mistakes that they've made, of underestimating the community, of underestimating the apes. And you can see here another reason why they want to suppress us technically. From the technical standpoint, if you take a look at the Fibonacci, you can see AMC 150 price target, possibly 634 or 1,656. Now, we're taking a look at obviously using the Fibonacci of the price areas of where we are looking at. Now, we've already talked about this. AMC is already not reflecting the true value of where it should be. Squeeze aside, so disregarding the squeeze, when we're just looking at the fundamentals, AMC should be at a way higher price. So when you factor in the fundamentals, and then you factor in the fact that we are allowing free market. So I'm talking about no manipulation, no hiding of orders. We talked about at the very start, they're manipulating the shares, they're manipulating the price, because the odds of this happening is a 1 in 1 trillion. So we are seeing how they not only not let AMC reflect its fundamental value, they don't even let people trade just on the charts, because all these orders are rooted into the dark pool, in which it then doesn't see the light of day, in which it then doesn't affect the market whatsoever. And so that's why they are afraid, because even from the technical standpoint, we're looking at potentially 634, potentially 1,656. And you can already think of the damages it will do. When AMC goes to 150, 634, 1,656, it will already firstly create FOMO. It will encourage more investors to obviously buy in, which pushes the price even higher. But let's forget about that for a second. Let's forget about price going beyond 1656. Even at 1656, it's going to cause many of the smaller short hedge funds to sell and cover their shares, which will then push the price up, which then force the mid-size, which will push the price up even further. And then it will ultimately go towards firms like Citadel, like Virtue, Bank of America, Citigroup, etc., etc. And that's what they are afraid of the most. They understand the power in which AMC has. They understand the effect, the snowball effect, the domino effects that it will have. And it's why we've been seeing this manipulation happening. So you can see when we go back to this message of Adam Aaron in terms of talking, we are still here and standing tall, of what he means by this, of what he's trying to say. And you can understand the mistakes they've made when they realize that apes aren't willing to sell at the lowest of low. But apes aren't also willing to sell when they don't see the price they want to see, which is 4 digits, 5 digits, or however many digits for the different people. But yeah, guys, thanks for watching this video. I'll catch you guys next time.